friends, it's Miss Joni with your book of the week, Henry and Mudge and the Yellow Moon. This is part 2. We're going to be reading chapters 2 and 3. Thanks for joining me. Henry and Mudge, Under the Yellow Moon by Cynthia Rylant. In chapter 1, we just saw a lot of the fun things that Henry and Mudge do together in the fall. Chapter 2 is called Under the Yellow Moon. Henry loved Halloween. He loved to make jack-o'-lanterns. He loved to make paper bats. And most of all, he loved to dress up. But there was one thing about Halloween Henry did not like: ghost stories. And Henry's mother loved to tell ghost stories. Every Halloween she put on her witch's hat. She lit candles and told ghost stories. She thought Henry liked him because he told her he liked them. But really he hated them. They scared him, and he was afraid to tell her that. But this year Henry had Mudge. Mudge would be with him. Henry would not be afraid of the ghost stories. So Halloween night, Henry's mother put on her witch hat and she lit her candles. She invited Henry and Mudge and some of Henry's friends to tell ghost stories. It was dark outside. A big yellow moon was in the sky. It was dark inside, except for the candles and one jack-o'-lantern. Henry got close to Mudge on the floor, and Henry's mother began. First, she told a story about a man who lost his head. Henry shook. His friends shook. And then she told a story about a cat wandering in a graveyard. The candles and the light were making shapes on the walls. Henry shook harder. Then Henry's mother began telling a story about a pair of shoes that went looking for someone's feet. The shoes, she said, only came out at night, and they walked up and down the street looking. You could hear them, she said softly. They went click, 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 click. Henry's mother tapped her own shoes on the floor. Click, 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 she whispered. But when she stopped tapping, Henry still heard something. Something in the room. Something in the room under the yellow moon. Henry held his breath. Something went click, 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 but faster. Henry's whole body shook. It was like someone walking faster and faster. Click, 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 click. What was it? Henry's mother bent down. Mudge, she said. Henry knew his mother was scared too, if she needed Mudge. Mudge, she said again. The clicking got louder. The shoes are coming, thought Henry. He put his head in Mudge's neck. Now the clicking was louder than ever. Mudge, Henry's mother said, stop chattering. Chattering? Henry put his ear near Mudge's mouth, and Mudge's teeth went click, 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 click. It wasn't a pair of shoes. It was Mudge. And he was more scared of the yellow moon on the dark room and the witch's stories than anyone else. Poor Mudge, thought Henry. Henry stopped shaking and put his arms around Mudge's big head and held Mudge tight. Then they listened to the next story about a chair that rocked all by itself. But Mudge clicked all the way till the end. The next chapter, the last chapter in this book, is called Thanksgiving Guests. Okay, this is, all right. Okay. In November, Henry's Aunt Sally always came. She came 1 week before Thanksgiving. This book is not how I remembered it. She left 1 week after Thanksgiving. That is why Henry did not like Thanksgiving, because Henry did not like Aunt Sally. She talks too much, Henry thought. She eats too much, Henry thought. She hogs the TV, Henry thought, and Henry wished Aunt Sally would stay home. Aunt Sally had not yet seen Henry's dog Mudge. I bet she hates dogs, Henry thought. Oh, how he wished Aunt Sally would stay home, but she didn't. She came 1 week before Thanksgiving, right on time. Aunt Sally came into Henry's house. She was talking and talking and talking. She went right into the kitchen with Henry's father. Henry knew what Aunt Sally would be doing in the kitchen. Henry went in the backyard to find Mudge. At last, Henry thought that Aunt Sally must be finished talking and eating, so he went back inside with Mudge. They walked into the kitchen. Aunt Sally was still eating. Good grief, she yelled. Henry and Mudge stepped back. I knew she'd hate dogs, Henry thought. Aunt Sally looked at Mudge. Good grief, she said again. But then she took a cracker off her plate. She threw it to Mudge. Snap went Mudge's mouth, and the cracker was gone. Henry looked at Mudge. Henry looked at Aunt Sally. Great dog, Aunt Sally said. She put a cracker in her own mouth. Want one? She asked Henry. Sure, said Henry. He sat down with Aunt Sally. She still ate too much. She still talked too much. But all of our talk this time was about Mudge, and that was different. Aunt Sally talked about Mudge's sweet eyes. She talked about Mudge's strong chest. She talked about Mudge's soft fur. She talked about Mudge's good manners. And she fed Mudge lots of crackers. This year, Henry knew he was going to like Thanksgiving. This year, Henry knew he really had something to be thankful for. I thought this was going to be the book where they got separated. That must be in another Henry and Mudge book. But this book was about being thankful for your friends. So that is how it fits into our theme on our last week of school. I hope you enjoyed it. Email me with something that you're thankful for now that we have finished up this whole year of school. I would love to hear what was your favorite part or what you've been thankful for. See you guys later. Hasta luego.